So welcome to another exploration of consciousness with the Earth Hub. Welcome everyone, all the consciousness explorers being here today. And as you can see on the back of my, gosh, can you see? Anyway, there's a human, there's a light bulb, and there's a fish. Now, the topic for today is light bulb moments. And I was wondering, looking at that picture, because the picture basically inspired the topic for today. So what does a human, a light bulb, and a fish have in common? And it's not a joke, so it doesn't have to be a punchline or anything like that. So what does a fish, a light bulb, and a human have in common?
The electricity of life.
Mm-hmm. Breathing.
Electricity,
history, past events, history, human history.
History, yeah, with the light bulb and stuff, yeah. Anything else? What's a human, a light bulb, and a fish have in common? When I asked myself the question just before we came on here, I had expiry date.
What is that?
An expiry date.
Exactly.
A day.
Exactly. Maybe the same output of, like Tanya said, output of that energy that again experience stuff, but everyone in their field only. Like human, it's a human experience. In our field, light bulb, it's light, that field, and fish, it's a water. It can't exist in any other environment. So experience kind of like defined by nature of that creature or of that thing.
I like that. Defined by surroundings.
By choice of who they are, how they showed up in this reality of energy, reality of vibration.
Okay.
What is possible for that kind of definition, human, fish, light, and what is not actually possible.
I like that.
And I mean, this particular fish lives in the depths of the ocean where there is darkness, right? And the human, right? So that particular fish, lives in that darkness, but also has the light, right, that shines and attracts its prey to it. The human also has the ability to move from the depths of darkness, right, that void space, right, and connect the light, which is common, I think, for both of those beings.
Yeah. And it's like what Earthy is saying, each can shine a light.
It's like a possibility. We all have, all those kinds have this possibility. But if we look at existence of fish, human, light bulb, existence defined by something very, very particular. We have that possibility, but how we exist, and this is how most of humanity exists. They don't think about light. They don't look into direction of finding that light. Even everyone has insight.
So all three of them are light, but they're all specifically individually tailored for whatever purpose they've come here for. Very much like...
It was tailored, not today. Today is different time. Today is different time. We are living in different reality today.
Yeah. Don't take it away. You're jumping too far. Hold on, Irina. I want to get there slowly. So there's a bit of a lead up to this because we're talking about light bulb moments, right? Now, I've got a question on this one that's leading into this one to a certain extent. But I just want to say that experience is a legacy for each one in particular. So there's a legacy in this one as well. So I just came across this Descartes, René Descartes in the 1600, defining human consciousness by asking the question, can machines think? And apparently Descartes asked himself that question, which I'm going to ask you now, because personally, I think he got it really wrong in the 16th century. But as we're now in a different era, maybe we can ask the question that he asked, that apparently human consciousness is based on, and the thinking of the creation of digital AIs and computers and all of it, which is a big story, which I can't remember, so we're not going to go in there. So that was just a little background story. Anyone who wants to read up on Descartes 1600, asking himself the question, can a machine think? We're just going to skip over that and ask ourselves that question, right? And apparently he, in a meditative state, he asked himself to visualize, can you visualize your body without a mind?
Doesn't have purpose.
Just a yes or a no for now. Can you visualize your body without a mind?
No, because you have to have the mind to be your experience.
Okay.
Like theoretically it can exist, and we know examples when people not conscious, they are losing connection to mind, body still exists. But I agree with Hermenia, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fulfill the purpose without mind. It
Anyone
needs
else?
that connection.
Anyone else?
I was just thinking of the trend back in the late 50s and the 60s of a frontal lobotomy, right? People who weren't behaving within societal structure, who were deemed, crazy or dangerous or whatever. I was just thinking about what Kennedy's sister, I think Rosemary, she was declared as mentally ill, right? And then and hysterical, and they ended up giving her a frontal lobotomy. So taking the brain, right, that part of the brain out of the body, how is the functionality? Right, and almost brought her back into a state of childlike innocence, right, where she didn't have the ability to interact and connect like she was, but it almost brought her into this, state of just pure being, like you see some of the folks with the chromosomal anomaly of Down syndrome, right? And these beings are just so loving, right? And so innocent. I don't know, there's something there that popped up to the surface.
There, absolutely. And
yes, interesting observation. And I actually, when I read topic for today, it's straight connection to our topic. And if you can observe her after that lobotomy, yes, it can come that pure love or some calmness, but it doesn't have any direction. And this is not human existence. Human, we all have some desires, some needs, some wants. And this is actually, in my understanding, defining our life from beginning to end of human part of existence. Without direction, you are vegetable. Yes, you can be kind, you can be even nice flower, but you are not human being. You don't have that thing, experience, desire for experience. It just, you exist, yeah, but you're not complete even in your beingness in that state.
Okay.
It's some people directing you.
Let's leave that for 1 second. Keep all of that in mind. I want to read something else before we ask the question again, and I'm going to ask it slightly different. All right. So this is the other thing I came across the other day. There is in man a cerebral intelligence and also an innate intelligence. Cerebral intelligence depends upon the recording of observed facts. Intelligence of the heart is purely a function of experienced innate consciousness. Just take that in for a moment, and to make a reference here, this is from a book which I have ordered, haven't read it yet. Swallow the Lubitsch, Esotericism and Symbol. Yeah, just to make sure I make that connection here. Yeah. So think of two things. As we talk about light bulb moments, we talk about cerebral intelligence, and I'm saying think about this within the context of cerebral intelligence, which is a recording of facts, and also the innate heart intelligence of the heart, which is an experience of innate consciousness, right? Good. Let's place that. We got a couple of holograms open here, right? We're all good with that. Multidimensional creators here. Let's keep them all open, like on the screen. Now the question, I'm going to ask the question again. Can you and there's no right or wrong, yeah? I'm not picking up anyone about the yes or no. I don't care what. But it's just, I want you to just visualize it now, right? So go into your imagination, get out of the heads, the minds and everything. Go into your imagination and just visualize. Can you visualize your body without a mind? Can you visualize your current body without a mind, to be even more specific? And just get whatever you're getting. You don't even have to say yes or no for the sake of, it's a non-discussion at this moment in time. It's just what you're visualizing.
I want to explore actually what you just said about cerebral mind and innate mind intelligence, I would say cerebral intelligence and innate intelligence. I totally agree, and this is actually functionality why we would choose human suit and human experience. We have both, in my opinion. And without having that cerebral intelligence, awareness, yeah, you don't complete your human experience. You are something else, but you are not human. And I love word you used, recording. Without having our mind, physical mind, brain, we are not capable to record our experience. We are not capable to make input into soul memories about experience, why we are here, the way we are here, and what we are doing coming here.
Okay.
It's my vision.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Anyone else who wants to say to that, can you visualize your body without a mind? Next question. No? Tanya, do you want to say something? No?
No, I mean, I can't. I mean, I think it's part of the package.
Like
right?
what Irina is saying, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw one thing in, because for me it's a yes. How can I visualize? I can visualize myself on the deathbed where the body has been discarded. There is no mind attached to that death, to that body anymore. So I can visualize myself, my body, my dead body, after a certain period of time when everything has been disconnected without a mind. That's just that. But that's why we're asking these questions, right? Now, next question would be, can you visualize your body without a soul?
Well, in that context that you just explained, right, where the soul that is you leaves the body, sure.
Yeah.
But even, going back to the previous question for a hot second, I think that the consciousness, to me, the mind is the thinking consciousness, as opposed to the brain, which is the physical component that contains the thinking consciousness. But so does every cell in our body, I think.
And we'll get there. So we've got another question going on here. Can you visualize your mind without your body?
In that context, right. Thinking about like the spirit that is you has a thinking consciousness, right? And so is always connected to the mind or the thought or the impulse.
So like it will be like, and you feel all information then because it's not in the body. Like
would you need to feel it if you didn't have
like energy
a body?
field?
Maybe feeling is different if you're not embodied.
Yeah.
Very good point here, the distinction between feeling, which is very much a human embodiment perception, versus perceiving, which can be the same, but you can perceive from a place of a different level of consciousness. You can from an etheric perspective that is different to the body that you're having right now. This is why your body came into that question. You can still, even from a death perspective, perceive your mind, your soul, without having your body. So that was the other question. Can you perceive? But that's the question, is just this imagination, that sense. Can you perceive your mind without your current physical body? Can you perceive your soul without your current physical body?
Well, I think that would be depend my level of consciousness.
Exactly.
Because if we exist in different dimension, time, and space, in different level of consciousness, then will be depend on that.
Exactly.
Technically you can, but will you be human at that moment? Yes, Hermania, I agree completely. You won't be human. You will shift your type of existence, your type of experience. You won't be human.
Yeah.
Or you will be the human that you've always meant to be, that you can perceive yourself on the celestial medium journey, fully conscious of your soul, individual soul contribution, if you're now within body, physically, etheric, astral, or whatever other form.
Isn't a definition of celestial human being when you perceive everything at once?
Exactly.
Everything at once, but if you are doing it from human position in all these layers, you have to have connection to your human body, even perceiving everything. So you will perceive and human body and human experience and all celestial experiences. Yes, this is where we are going, agreed 100%. And we already can do two experiences at once. We already have built into this human body, because I believe we will change human suit. It will change physiology of human suit, already changing, but we will be in different physical suit. But today, in this suit, we already have possibility to perceive infinity and finite experience already. Maybe not without some particular layers of infinity, but we already have mechanism in this human suit to perceive infinity as altogether, and finite experience as human experience that has time, that has some beginning, ending. So it has some definitions of in relation to each moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had an experience when I first moved into my house that I think is relevant here. When I was standing at my refrigerator at night and it was dark, I looked over my shoulder and I saw a being standing there. And I had a knowingness that it was the man, the husband of the wife, who had just been moved out into a care facility of our house before we purchased it. And seeing that ghost standing there and having the I don't know, direct knowing from that being's mind or energy field that he was looking for his wife. And I said, she's not here. She, look for her. She's moved out. You have to go look for her. You can't come back to the house because she's not here anymore. And he left and he never came back. And I think like 6 months later, his wife passed away. But, thinking about this mind and thought with the body, without the body, clearly he was not a human body anymore, right? He was a corporeal spirit that had the shape of a human body and the residual image of a human body, and could think in a way that led him back to this place. Like, I don't know what he was feeling, but I could feel love, right? That love, he was looking for his love. So even though we're not embodied, that experience of going back after you've passed away and looking for a loved one to say hi, to to just share energy with that person. I mean, that, to me, that says he was thinking, right? And he was feeling, even though he didn't have the body.
Maybe he was not thinking, maybe he was having some kind of attachment that was pulling him through his memories of previous experience, because he was, by your description, not leaving Earth yet. He was somewhere around, at least maybe part of his energy, of his presence in his past was still here, attached, having that attachment to some event connected to house and his wife. He didn't come to you. He didn't come to me. He came to house where he had experience, and he was looking for wife with who he had experience. So it's not exactly human experience to do that. Like you said, it's a host, and it's completely different existence.
And he was lucky to meet someone like Tanya, right?
Who can talk.
Get all like a explain to him, it's all right, babes, but she's not here anymore. He could actually move on, That's a beautiful story. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Tanya.
Yeah.
And that leads us nicely into the light bulb definition. Is there a definition for a light bulb moment? Or, okay, give us, Irina. Let's put the definition together, all of us, because this whole warm-up was to just look at the light bulb moment from all these different angles. Irina, you go, shoot.
I'm actually was experiencing this moment, like a light bulb moment or aha moment, that is the same, because it has straight connection to our experience as human being, how we want to have it, to have desirable experience instead of something that is pulling you or pushing you. And you are in entanglement situation with someone or something that you have to solve instead of enjoying your experience and being present in each moment of your life, consciously expanding to the point you need, you want, you desire, having those desire experience coming towards you. Yeah, so I was exploring this part of our existence and set up, how we set up, how we build. And I came to a very interesting result. There is a part inside of us, human suit, human psyche, actually, human psyche, that has connection to that field of us, that part of us that we call higher consciousness. From where those aha moments coming? They are not coming from anywhere. They are coming from particular connection to us as human being, to universal possibilities. Everything is possible. So it is connection to our higher self, but we have inside of us part that is a bridge. I see it as a bridge that is bringing those aha moments in our human awareness, human level of consciousness. And that part, very simple. It's inner child. This is how simple it is, because it has all qualities of neutrality that allows that connection to higher self from our duality experience. We are here all the time in seesaw of duality experience plus limitation, of course, a definition of our previous experience. But if you have connection to that inner child inside, and I already mentioned in our previous meetings that traditional psychology don't understand completely that part of our psyche, inner child. They see part, they work with that part of us very particular way, but they don't see depth of that part inside of our psyche. So, but if you are establishing your connection to that part, your inner child, in proper way, how it was set up, and you keep that part of your psyche, inner child, in that particular vibration, you are constantly in aha moment. You are constantly have your light bulb just shining and bringing you whatever you need in each moment of your experience as human being. The closest what I can say, what I found, who is describing that proper state of that inner child is Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono, yeah.
Ho'oponopono. This is the closest who describe state of that part of our psyche that gives you just, like that ride through life when everything, you are just going from flow to another flow and everything so smooth and everything so joyful and happy and everything no problem, no troubles, all your experiences. Of course, if you want some problems, some troubles, you can change vibration of that part and just don't pay attention. But if you want your life to be joy and excitement of your choice, not someone's choice or some circumstances choice, then you have to pay attention to that part of your psyche.
Thank you, Arina. And that probably would require us to do a little reframe at some stage of the inner child, because the inner child is very much associated to the karmic resolution machine and engine, where the inner child always is the one that gets hurt. You know, you're presenting the inner child from a healed perspective, you know, and I love it. I love it. And for me personally, before we ask the question to somebody else, for me personally, I don't necessarily associate it to the inner child as such, because for me that kind of intelligence is the intelligence of the heart, that is a very grown up, wise, still fun, loving, joyful, all-knowing being.
Heart is a mechanism where higher self can be present in this skin suit, but child, it's a bridge to heart. You cannot enter your heart without, like Jesus said, you have to become a child to enter my, how he said?
Kingdom.
Kingdom, exactly. This is, but you see, you are saying that child, it's a hurt part. No, it's just accumulation of hurt, but it never can be hurt. I had experienced how a child see all that hurt that later on in our adult human life, we are trying to solve that pain from childhood. Child actually don't feel that pain. Child in that painful situation experiencing completely different stuff. It's only from point of adult looking back with our evaluation system as adult, we see it as pain. Child don't experience that. That's why child can survive through any pain in childhood.
It's an interesting take, and certainly something to be explored when we talk about abuse again, because that's a little bit of a step, beyond any exploration into abuse, but it does maintain and invite us to go back to be curious and all of that. So thanks for that. Let me ask the question again now. What was the question? What is a light bulb moment for you guys? How would you define a light bulb moment?
So for me, I think the aha moment, or the realization, I think the light bulb moments that I've had that have the most remembrance and effect are the ones where I knew something, but the realization that all of a sudden now I know it, right? So this energy of okay, yes, I know, I know this to be true in my mind, right? For example, love heals everything, right? I've known that for a long, long time, but it wasn't until a series of events happened that allowed that knowingness to burst forth from my heart space. And then instead of just knowing it in my head, in my mind, in my logic, that it was a full body experience of knowingness.
Yes. I love that. And that leads us to, what we were saying, that leads back to what we were saying. Yeah, we played with the fact, can we imagine a body without a mind without a body? But just like Irina was saying as well, it is the light only comes on through materialization, through the embodied experience. Otherwise, it's a memory, like you say. It's a knowingness. It's that. And as soon as and this isn't it like that? We know something, but we can't tap into it, And then all of a sudden, there's a sign, or there's it could be anything. It could be a cup. It could be anything in the material world that all of a sudden makes it real almost. That's when the light bulb moment. It could be a pattern. It could be what somebody says. It could be from the abuse, as we talked about abuse, it could be something like that we couldn't pinpoint, we couldn't remember, or we couldn't associate with, and all of a sudden there it is. And that's the aha moment. So it's a combination of the innate and the cerebral intelligence. It's a working together with body, without body. It's almost like, what if the light bulb moment is you being the embodied celestial medium? So anyone
connecting all of your cells to the universal consciousness.
And once the light's on, the light's on. You don't have to go and polish the bulb, or, you know, or blow into it, or, you know, or pray over it. Once it's on, it's on. Until it expires, but, you know, we expire too. But the memory, the innate intelligence remains. That's why it's called innate consciousness. That remains on a soul level, on a higher self level, on an inner child level. Like Irina used the term inner child. Use it in that connection. Because the continuation of consciousness. And there's so much innate knowingness in that consciousness of ours, wherever you want to find it, whatever you want to define it as. And the light bulb moments bring it into the now. They explode, they switch on that light, because it's a light memory that is getting switched on.
Quick.
Does anyone else want to tell us what they perceive as a light bulb moment, or just give us examples of your light bulb moments? I mean, Tanya gave us one of hers, dealing with a ghost, having a visitation, which actually I'm going to just jump onto this one, because I had a light bulb moment too, along those lines. I have a guest room here that we use obviously for guests, right? And Emma has moved back in, and she came back with all her crap and is nowhere to put it. So what we did, we put all her clothes, everything, onto her bed. And I said, I'll help you. We'll put it away into cupboards, and the rest we're going to get rid of, and all of that. And in the meantime, you sleep in the guest room, right? And Emma is very perceptive. And she woke up in the morning and she said to me, she said, oh, Mama, I know it's a guest room, but Jesus, we have lots of guests in there. And I said, yes, I know. And she said she saw them, she heard them, and she was so cool about it. I said, so what did you do? And I said, I know, we've got so many all over the place, but you just got to tell them, this is I sleep, during the sleep, no visitations. And she said, yeah, I just told them to go away. But the light bulb moment for me was the realization, or just the confirmation, how amazing, you know, it is when we do the work for ourselves and we just mention things in passing to our family, friends. You know, it's not that I have this conversation with Emma on a daily basis, you know, and she just picks it up. And I sometimes think, you know, oh, come on, you know, you got to learn this stuff, we got to have a chat about this. And they'll pick it up without even having to, what's that thing? Force it down their throats. There is so much by just being ourselves, by just doing the work that we enjoying, how we impact others. There's a lot of light going on here that people can't even talk today. I love it.
One of the things that I've been working with recently, which is my current my current light bulb moments, I've been working with selenite a lot. And selenite, well, they also call it satin spar, right? But you can see the striations, right? Almost like the ligaments, right, through the stone itself. And it's interesting that you posted the anglerfish and the human, and I posted the picture of the anglerfish that I was talking about earlier in the chat, and I'll post that when we post. But
Yeah.
this energy of connection, right? The mind, the body, the spirit, connecting all together, I think is really working with this energy of selenite, because we have these little like energy cords. These are a physical representation, right, of the energy that goes from, from our higher spiritual self, from our source code, right, down through the energetic bodies as like threads of light that connect, right? So what I'm seeing now is the way that the star that is Earth, right, connecting through our source code, through our human body, is like connecting up in a way that it wasn't before, right? With this higher frequency energy that's available on Earth, we have the ability to bring these connections together again. So that's really exciting to me. And I think all crystals that work with this kind of, with these striations, whether it be selenite or kunzite, tourmaline, kyanite, they all have these almost like physical representations of what we're doing with our light codes as we're connecting those threads back up to the higher frequency energies.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It's like a light frozen on time, something like that. Light frozen, like the light is frozen in that form.
This is just a physical manifestation, right, of connecting the void space right to the light, right, the heart of Mother Earth to the heart of source, right, and working like that grounding cord, bringing that energy through the body and through the chakra system and anchoring down, and then bringing the energy through the body. It's like a two-way it's a two-way street, right, like a train track
Antenna.
where light comes down, but also we bring that light up and through our bodies. But yeah, it's just fascinating, like really working with the striations and the energetics of selenite to support sort of that connection.
And I love that, because once the light bulb is on, why did it come on? It came on exactly for that. Do we need to remember? Why do we want to connect to our higher selves, or to our souls, or to our other versions of ourselves, to our hubs of interconnectivity? Because we need to acknowledge our human capacities and our mission on this earth to be the connector.
Martina, I was wondering when you mentioned about if your body doesn't have the energy, is not connected anymore with the ether, that is the one that, I was wondering how much awareness we can have in the moments, because now that you mentioned, I had a friend that he met me in my grandmother's house, and he got very attached to me. He used to come in to visit. When he died, he was planning to, he had like a piece of land with a house, and he was planning to sell that to give it to me. And he just like a couple months later, he died. And then after he died, every time I was remember him, he was behind my back. And sometimes I could even feel the breathing in my shoulder. And then when I told one of my friends, she told me, you gotta tell him that that was when he was here alive, that he doesn't have to do anything for you anymore, that your friend was when he was here. He has to keep going, move forward. Because it was like every moment any image coming to me from him, he was already my back. I was wondering how much awareness can we have, like a expansion of energy in time and space, that your body, physical body is not here anymore, but you're still hanging around for attachment or for something that you say you're going to do and you couldn't do it. And maybe you feel regret or sorrow or whatever because you couldn't do it. I was, like you said, light bulb. I said, well, I wonder how much awareness we have for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you say, it's the entanglement and the attachment from the person, as Tanya said, the majority of ghosts themselves don't know that they've died, that they don't have a body anymore, because the consciousness is not conscious enough to know that, and they just carry on as if they literally get trapped in this dimensional realm. They're also being held back by the people who grieve and that won't let them go, But how did you do it? Did you do it just like Tanya? Did you tell him it's okay, he can move on?
Yeah, I was just, like my friend told me, just sit down and just talk to him like he's in front of you and tell him whatever you want to tell him, because he was a very old man. He was like maybe his 80 something, but he met me. I did a lot of things for him, in the last stage. He had to leave that property on my name, but he couldn't finish. And he was like he was feeling bad about it, that he couldn't do it, because it was like in any moment I can feel him in my back. And then my friend told me, just sit down and talk to him like he's in front of you, and tell him that you forgive him, that you were friend when he was here, but he had to continue going, that it's okay, that don't worry about it, that he didn't do what he wanted to do. And then after that, I never felt anything. It was like it was real. This happened real, right? Huh?
Fantastic. And thanks for sharing that, because that's a big light bulb moment for people who have encounters with, interdimensional sort of, or ghost energies, and don't know what to do with it. Or in most cases, they're still frightened. There's nothing to be frightened about. And I'd just like to add one thing. Yes, the majority of them will leave once they are told. And then there will be some that want to keep coming back and just contribute to you and just hang out with you for a little while. And if that is the case, then if you're happy with that, be in allowance of it. I have a friend who died many, many years ago, and he keeps popping in. And I just say hi and how are you? And then he moves back on again. And this is also part of the multidimensional aha moments that we will have more and more increasingly now. The realization that, yes, we have our body here, and yes, we are, on the graduation timeline, and we're bringing our aspects, our soul aspects, to integrate with us. So that we, at some level, when we go through the death process, that we can then have a conscious choice of keeping a part of us on this earth with another body, and other parts on different dimensions, on different timelines, not so much timelines, but wherever, different solar systems, different planets, but not necessarily as ignorant ghosts, but full consciousness and full awareness of what's going on.
Yeah. That's my only concerning, how much conscious I'm going to be in the moment. That's my concerning. Because just be flopping around without knowing what I'm going, where I'm coming, it wasn't make any sense for me from my point of view.
Yes, and it's going to be practice, just like everything else needs to be a practice discipline. You know, we'll have to practice dying. We'll have to practice the process. We'll have to visualize it. We'll have to get an understanding of the soul leaving. Where is the soul leaving from out of the body, and how we can maintain conscious enough to work it. And that's something, you know, the beginning, we've talked about this before, and we will talk about this again, is obviously the dream time experience. That's the best way of practicing. Start practicing consciously falling asleep, not just drifting off. And also the other thing is, we always talk about, you know, the dreaming body leaving through the sacral through chakra, the belly, and that is going to change as well, as those, you know, chakras are folding up into the upper space as we are ascending, awakening, whatever you want to call it, you know. So I have been hearing, and that's something we can explore, all of us together again, that I think in the Alice Bailey material had a quick chat with AB many months ago, with that change in the leaving of the dreaming body, no longer through and I'm not quoting AB on this one. This is my own exploration, but it will change. And Alice Bailey material is saying that, you know, the soul is popping out through the head. So some people that are consciously falling asleep already, it's almost like you can hear it click. And that's just a bit of information if you want to explore that on your own. I'm certainly will be exploring that a bit more. But yeah, that's practice. And we can do this because death is the most practiced activity of a mortal being.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's, you know, very fun and very expansive. And she was saying that she had just watched the Dali. There's a Dali movie with Ben Kingsley, I think, playing Dali. And he was talking about the way that he knew he was dreaming. So he would hold a key in his hand when he fell asleep, that would, when he was just falling asleep, the key would drop onto a dish and make a little clink, and then he knew he was dreaming. So I mean, like, think about all of that material, that all of the crazy like dreamscape art, right, that Dali did, but he really was, you know, being that conscious lucid dreamer, because he had a technique to tell him when he was dreaming. And so then, like, part of that self that wasn't dreaming would pay attention.
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, that's a good one. If anyone wants to, well, there are books out there, obviously, another, but that is one of the techniques to teach yourself to lucid dream. Absolutely.
But it's that's why very interesting for me, because from Don Matus, from Carlos Castañeda, her whole life purpose was that, to be able to just to flip from the conscious level or consciousness and then disappear, and not just die like an ordinary death. Just transform the physical body, integrating the energy body behind the physical body. That was the all, you know, from my point of view, what they always was looking for.
Absolutely. And you know, we could even say that is really the purpose of all our lives, to celebrate and die happily, because what we are saying when I say that is, we're taking the fear out of death. So what happens when we take the fear out of death? We're going to start living with joy, because we're not bloody worried about everything and actually enjoying ourselves. And that's apparently where we're heading. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the exploration for the next 50 plus years for us, you know. More aha moments to be had.
Yeah,
but
I always like visualize myself like you know, in the ethers that you can see the flicky, the energy. So I was wondering if I can just walk between that and just disappear. I used to say that to myself, and then when I listen about I find out about Carlos Castañeda and the Juan, I said, oh my God, and I was not so crazy at all. It's something that can be accomplished.
yeah, Absolutely.
Transform myself through the energy field, physical to the energy field.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Alice Bailey, Rudolf Steiner, those are cool sources. But we also, AB, of course, I did a show with him, I remember in 2020 or 21, where we talked about near-death experiences and where I asked all sorts of questions to really look into the dynamics or the mechanics rather, you know, because once we start understanding what happens during the death process, you know, things totally change.
Yeah.
Light bulbs are clicking on. Okay, well, we've done it so many times.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the more we practice, the more, the easier this whole thing gets for us. So let's
One of my just a real quick little little mini story. But one of my clients was really close to her grandmother and works with this very powerful medium on a regular basis. And when her grandmother was passing away, she said, "Go find this guy, right? After you pass away, I want you to go find him because he's going to help you talk to me." And now she has this very, you know, very tight connection with her grandmother because it was like they used the medium as sort of a conduit to create these energy connections, you know, from the other side.
Become the messenger.
Yeah.
The messenger helped to, you know, connect, you know, click that, make that connection stronger and more solid.
Very cool.
And of course, we all have those capacities ourselves. And as we're moving towards the death celebration, we will get to that astral communication where we're no longer just reading our energy fields, our auric fields, but literally working on safe and grounded basis with the astral world. And there is definitely a long way to go on this one. Well, it's not a linear way, but still as something to be really looked into, because, you know, all the self-mastery, sovereignty rules, the self-healing rules that apply to this reality, to the awake reality, will of course apply to the astral world as well. And there's so many astral warriors out there who get burned left, right, and center by thinking they can just get out there and play the big cowboys, and they get burned because there's shit happening in this reality and certainly shit happening in all the other dimensions out there.
Well, and I you know, I think that speaks back to the aha moment also, right? Like being on this journey of awakening that I've been on for, you know, 23, 25, who knows, you know, my whole life, right? Slowly opening. And one of the things that I've seen is as you push past that next plateau, right, and get higher frequency enlightenment, then sometimes you say, "Oh, wow, I feel great. I'm so enlightened. Look at me. You know, I know this and I've moved past this." And then like 5 minutes later, you get the smackdown and you say, "Oh shit, I don't know nothing." You know, and you know, then we go through like the next wave, right? Where we feel like on top of the world. And then all of a sudden a whole another book or you know, world of information opens up to us. And then we just have to be really humble and really loving and forgiving to say, "Oh my gosh, right, there's so much that we can't know, that we don't know, right, that we slowly open to."
I think you just beautifully defined enlightenment, true enlightenment, you know, because, you know, once we think we know that we know nothing. There is some sort of saying on this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And anyone who doesn't acknowledge that has never heard of aha moments, obviously.
Yeah. There's the saying that the more I know, the more I discover that I don't know, right?
Exactly that one. Alfredo, you still here? Do you wanna tell us any of your aha moments, or Arena or Earthy?
Oh,
Hi, darling.
no. Hey. Kind of speechless right now, Martina.
Okay, no worries.
I've been a big crybaby lately, and just I feel like a lot of stuff is coming up. I guess aha, like like realizing a lot of the patterns for what I do, and I don't know, everything's kind of just being exposed right now, and I'm just settling into this space, aware of how I've been living life. So for me, the big aha is like remembering how to let go again fully, so I'm not just letting my controlling aspect control my whole life. So I'm just, relearning to let go so I can reach that infinite state of just beingness instead of I think I'm letting go, but I'm not. I always think I'm letting go, but I'm really not. And,
would you be open if I ask you a question?
yes, yeah, I'm totally. Yeah, go for it.
So what if it's not about letting go? What if it is? Would you be willing to add, instead of letting go, more to your life? And that adding more to your life would be part of you acknowledging that you are much, 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 much more than you think than you are. I want you to think of yourself as more rather than less, having to let go.
Yeah, I like that. Remembering I'm more than just this human existence.
No, even that just leave the just out. Even that human existence of Alfredo Torres. You are a tornado, mister. A natural tornado. And whoever fucking told you that you are not good enough, please just let that go. Have your aha moment now.
Yeah, I just don't want it to get to my ego, Martina, because I feel like
No.
like, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm, just full of myself,
You have to build up the ego first, all of us. I had this conversation with my daughter the other day. We're talking about love and all that. And I said, look, Emma, I'm 55, yeah? And I'm only now starting to learn about love and what that means to me. I said, I have empowered you for 24 years and plus 9 months inside, yeah? And before, obviously. I taught you empowerment. I taught you ego, because ego is empowerment. It depends how you define it. I told you to be an individuated person, to look after yourself, to be independent. And you are 24. I'm bloody 30 years after you. You're already looking into love. True higher love. Loyalty to yourself and all of that. You have to do the ego journey first. There's nothing wrong with the ego. Without an ego, there is no I am. Yes, there's an overinflated ego and all of that. But don't just take ego as, oh, I have to have no ego. Yes, you have to. Otherwise, you can't be.
It won't be able to be here.
Yeah. It's okay. Forget about that. You're fighting the battle like we all do. Allow yourself to be all who you are, no matter what other people tell you. Look at it. It's upside down, inside out. back and front? What if there's nothing wrong with you? Alfredo Torres.
Mm-hmm.
What is right about you? That's the question. Not what's wrong with me. May that be your aha moment by asking that question on a daily basis. What is right about me that I haven't considered yet? No matter what other people have told me when I was younger, older, whatever. I told myself, I picked up, all this shit is not yours. Just send it back.
I mean, I think the ego too, right, helps us expand into that next level, right? When we're finding ourselves, you know, feeling on top of the world, just really on top of the next plateau. The ego serves us, right? Because it helps us integrate the past information and embody it and be it, right? So we can move to that next enlightenment, that next aha moment.
I'll have to re-listen and consider.
Just keep asking that question, what's right about me that I haven't considered yet? And don't look for the answer will come. Your aha moments will pop up like mushrooms. Just keep asking the question. We're not asking because we want validation or anything. We're asking because we want to open up to our own awareness. Just keep asking from a place of very simple, what's right about me? Especially when you go into the what's wrong about me. Whoa, flip the coin. Okay, what's right about me? Even if you don't believe it yet. Let those mushrooms pop up and then you start picking them. Right? And then you make a nice omelette or a soup or a sauce or whatever, and you put a bit of steak in it.
Or special magic tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those mushrooms. That was
Yeah. Oh, you're not talking about those?
being innocent.
There's plenty of that.
Soup.
Mushroom everything.
Okay, those go too.
We're just about to start. So happy new moon, everyone. It was a new moon less than an hour ago. And so now we're, you know, planting these new seeds of information and just looking at the 13 moon calendar, which we talked about. Today is the cosmic eagle. So it's the end of the 13-day cycle. And Alfredo, this one's for you. Tomorrow we start the wave spell of the warrior, the magnetic warrior. So, you know, now is a really good time. Yeah. Now is a really good time to just connect to that warrior within you, since it's your galactic signature. So the next 13 days, starting tomorrow, could be very empowered for you, seeding some energy today.
Beautiful.
Take note of that. I feel like I'm a warrior that just wants to take a big ass break and just quit pushing myself so hard.
Well, and maybe
I want to let go of this tension, Tanya. I push myself. I was like, I gotta run every day. I gotta make my super protein meal. I gotta do all these damn things. I just want to, as a warrior, just take a break from all this stuff and just.
So maybe this next 13 is using that warrior of love and peace within to just be gentle to and nurture yourself so you can come out the other side, you know, with momentum.
The light bulb warrior.
Mm-hmm.
The light bulb moment warrior.
You know, we all need the downtime too, right? And that's a difficult realization, right? As you know, light workers and star seeds and individuals who are seeding a lot of energy on the planet, right? Sometimes we feel like we have to do so much, right? That we always have to be on. And I find that that's not true at all. You know, we all need our downtime, right? Where we can go inwards and just be loving and nurturing and integrative to the information that we are processing, right? It's an ebb and flow, right? We can't always be on high, right? You can't always run your car at, 5,000 RPMs. You're going to burn out your engine. So give yourself space,
Definitely
give
me.
yourself a break, give yourself a break.
Yeah, that's all I'm prioritizing, Tanya, because I just putting all this stuff down for a second. This conscious, this addiction to being consciously in control. And like usually I do all this breathing work, I do all this running, I do all this stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna just lay in this damn sun in the morning. That's my practice for the day. Just lay in the sun and just not think about nothing. Just be and exist, and just not try to force my kids to do anything. Like yesterday, I was kind of on top of myself. So I need to get these kids outside. And I was like, come on, guys. One of them, I need to get them outside. I need to get them off the video games and bring them outside. But I just game with him a little bit. And then it's like, I'm going to go outside, Elroy. He just followed me. Finally just followed me. I just let go of the control and just go out there. He just wanted to go out there, go outside with me, and just like running around outside, we found this little frog on the creek, this little like 1 or 2 inch frog, and just chasing him around, it was fun, it's just simple things. Just connected with nature. And then even after we got the frog, you let him jump in the water and just let him go. I started jumping around like a frog, ribbit, 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 and chasing my kid around. Just letting myself just
play.
I don't know, just let myself play around. Just get over this control, this control. So just for me, the aha moments are just, remembering how to play. I'm just crying a lot. I guess the crying is just the letting go.
And I got to ask you another question, Alfredo, as well.
Yeah.
Have you? When have you decided that you will have to take, as a guardian of the earth? Are you aware that you're a guardian of the earth?
Without it getting an overinflated ego, yes.
And when have you decided that as a guardian of the earth that you have to carry the burden of earth, of Gaia, of the planet on your shoulders? Did you decide that in this lifetime or in other lifetimes? How many lifetimes have you decided that you have to carry the burden of Mother Gaia? More than 50 or less than 50? Answer quickly. More than 50 or less than 50? More than 50 or less than 50 lifetimes?
That's
So, yeah.
It depends what angle I go from, because I know that this lifetime I'd probably been carrying it a bit when I was caught up in geomancy and working with the ley lines and stuff. But probably in past lifetimes, maybe 2. But this is
not why you've come here for. Or maybe you've come here for to now finally let go of that burden, because Mother Gaia does not need you to carry her fucking burden. Trust me.
Yeah, she could take care of herself.
Yeah. And that goes for all mothers. You're not responsible for the feminine energy on this planet. So that's maybe a choice you can make too, to let that go. We're all here to do our own individual journey. To just drop it. Be the frog. What's it going to take? Frog Alfredo Torres.
I like being the frog. Simple.
Be the frog.
Just
Well,
jump in
and
the water.
having that playtime, right? It does a lot more than we think it does, right? For our own inspiration, for our own like sense of relaxation and sense of self. And like Irenia was saying earlier, talking about getting to that innocent inner child, right? The play brings us to that state of like the innocence, the innocent heart, where we're connected to all things in ways that we can't even cognitively understand. Yeah. So when you do that, when you let go and just play with that innocent heart, you're connecting and shifting in so many ways that you can't even quantify.
Yeah, I was able to connect with Elroy more when I was just being a frog. Which I have a hard time connecting with him because I let him get so caught up in video games. That's my fault. But like when I'm just being silly and stupid and being a frog, he's willing to jump around and make frog noises too.
See,
but yeah, so more shifting.
What better advice to use? Just be a frog.
Yeah.
Irina, you got something too?
Yep. I actually, guys, turned my life into aha moment. It's 24/7. I have my aha moments at night. I have my aha moments each morning, each moment of my life. So it is my existence. Aha moment. I exist in aha moment. I live in aha moment. And it's so exciting for me that I can't imagine any other way how to live.
So
you see, we are suggesting and we are seeing that Alfredo going through some tough experience. It's tough experience what he put on his shoulders. Yes. And you see, you're not letting go for a reason. And at the same time, you can't be frog. Yes. But then you turn and you see your life and you have to do this and this and this and this and this. And you can't jump from that as frog. You can, but it won't be true for you. This is what I see. So you have to take another approach. And when you can become that, what everyone is seeing in you, it's inside of you. It is in you. You can be that. But really, what you feel you can't let go, it means you understand and you have it with cerebral awareness and with your innate awareness. You have to do something you have to have done to come to that state of frog. And then you can exist in that state with everything you already created around you, and you can't uncreate in this life. You can't uncreate your kids. You can't. You can't uncreate your family. You can't uncreate your everything that around you that has some expiration date. You can't outcreate it or uncreate it. You have to find how you want to be with all that stuff. And for that purpose, you have to shift your state of being. You have to shift your energy vibration. What you are vibrating today, on what vibration, you have to make that shift, but make that shift legally, properly, with some cancellation, some change of your point of view. Then being frog will be natural for you. Then it won't be something that will throw you back into that state when you have those weights on your shoulders, weights on your hands, weights on your legs, and your body is so heavy, even you know you are light. So you have now, if you see your picture, sun, so beautiful, just on top of your head. It's just unbelievably beautiful. This is kind like where you need to go to be Alfreda, but at the same time becomes that light bulb. And you can do it with some little understanding how you can move through all that thing. You can do it. And yes, about this aha moment, yes, guys, I turned my life into aha moment, and I'm already existing in, I would say, some part of unlimitedness. Not everything. I can't embrace all unlimitedness. Too much, too big. I can't. It just can't process. And like Alfreda, I can't go. I can't let go. You know, like I have to do something, maybe a lobotomy or whatever to let go. But I'm not going to do that because I love human existence. And I was struggling with my human existence so long. Then I finally found a way how to manage my way to that place, to that vibration that I'm vibrating today on, that I embrace my human existence and I turn it into 100% aha moment, 24/7. And it's opening for me that connection to unlimitedness that I actually agree to explore. It can open wider, but I am not agreeing to that. I just feel it would be too much for me. And I choose some part. It's fluctuating. It's closing a little bit, opening a little bit, but I already exist then there on that unlimitedness part permanently. How I exist in my human reality permanently. No, of course, to point of expiration date, when I will transition to something else. Yeah, so it is possible and it is very joyful.
Rena, do you want to give us a little tool? Do you want to give our listeners a little tool on how you do it?
Yeah, so when I figure out that all our joy, bliss, and all our expansion, it's heart, it's our heart. Key to all that, it's our heart. I start to look how I can make my heart available for me 24/7. And looking for that tool, I actually found a way how to do that, but it requires that inner child part to be in particular vibration. And that vibration, it's a bliss. It's a bliss state. It's a natural vibration of that part of our psyche. It's a bliss of exploration. You know, like you look at baby, a child, when it's doing first steps, and it's like vibrating on that vibration. I can do anything. I want to explore everything. That vibration, your normal state of being of that part of your psyche. When you can keep that part of your psyche in that vibration 24/7, then aha moment become your 24/7 availability. So how you bring that part of your inner child, that we call inner child, into that state of bliss? Of course, working with understanding all your entanglements that you have as human being, you live life today that is connected to everything you ever lived or will live. It's connection. But today in your life, showing some particular entanglements to human previous experience of duality, limitations, all that. When you work those things, and you don't need to root that stuff. You just need to look differently. This is the thing. You have to rename it. To integrate that experience, you have to rename it. When you do that, then your child taking off shoulders all that weight of that entanglement we were creating when we were going through experience of duality. Just to continue going, we had to put somewhere. If we would not solve that entanglement immediately, it must go somewhere. So inner child, that part agreed to hold all entanglements. And this is how easy you can find what keeping you in those entanglements. You're not happy. And then you look, why am I not happy? And you go this, and this, and this. And then you go into those this, and you rename it, integrating that experience of duality. And you are returning that inner child in state that can provide you aha moment. This is how simple it is. And we have tools from Andrew. Revocation works perfectly. I created like steps of revocations, like steps. So I included there like very particular parts, what I have to address. What I have to address when I'm doing my revocation. And it's so simple. Why? Today, we are in space on Earth when everything what we are doing that way, again, without duality state. At least in neutrality. Yeah? When you are not judging your experience of past, now when you are not in some moment of not appreciation your today moment, when you are not in a hurry to get rid of, on contrary, you're already celebrating your remembering, that is expansion, yeah? And you're going through those steps, universe is supporting you 100%. Why? You already not part of duality. You are not in judgment. You are not in those seesaw, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You stopped that seesaw. So you have now access to vertical. You can go lower, descent. That is not your choice today, not anyone's choice. Or you can go up. That is expansion. It's another word for ascension, whatever you call it. So this is how you can do it.
So let me just summarize that for anyone. Be Alfredo, be an enlightened frog. Thank you, Irina. Thank you very much, darling. And yes to all of that. And I just want to add one thing. Many years ago, I did a shamanic course, and one of the exercises, I just rocked up there. I had no idea who these people were, and we were paired up, and we had to tune into each other. And this young girl was my partner, and when it came to us, she said to me, "What I got for you was you have to lighten up." I thought, that's it. Yeah, you have to lighten up. Just lighten up. And it was the best advice anyone has given me, because I needed to lighten the fuck up.
And you see
people, and look, like Irina, like you said, look at this guy. He's so lit up by the sun on his head. You can't see yourself, but once you go for the replay, Alfredo, you are lit up. That's what I'm saying to you. What's right about you? Just lighten up.
Mm-hmm. I think too that one of my biggest aha moments is not to look at the daily practice as a flow of energy. Like sometimes the energy is really high and we need to do hard cardio to burn off some of that energy, but some days the energy is not, it's low and it's gentle, and you need to just like get in the bath and go slow and feel that love and nurturing of Mother Earth. Some days are days for yoga, and some days are days for running, and some days are days for that cold plunge, right? But you don't have to go hot every day. right? There's like an ebb and flow of energy, and you know, an aha moment for me is learning to respect that, right? And listen to my body and listen to when to go hard and when not.
That's a good advice. I'll thread
I like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, energy is always changing every day. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be just one way.
Right.
I'm just going to read out what Earthy said before she left. She said when one of her light bulb moments was when Spirit shared with me that there are times that we are to stand on our path and not be overwhelmed about always moving forward on our path. When it is time to move forward again, we will be moved to do so.
Beautiful.
That kind of
like
trust. Yes.
You know, and when we're processing and letting go, right, of old patterns, of old fears, of you know, so we can make room for the new light that's coming in. You know, it's really important just to listen and be gentle there. You know, you say you're shedding a lot of tears right now. You know, we're in this, we're still, right, like maybe today, maybe tomorrow is the end of that Lion's Gate, so we're still in that energetic flow of higher frequency energy that is pushing stuff up to the surface for feeling and for healing, right? And I mean, that's a process, right? I look at like the cycles of energy, right? Whether they be the eclipse portals, or, you know, new moon to full moon portals, or equinox solstice portals, where Earth is coming in, you know, coming in hot, right? Beaming us, we're getting beamed with all this higher frequency energy that raises her vibrational frequency, but also pushes us to raise our own, right? So I've noticed these cycles where when Earth is giving us all this higher frequency energy, it's like, okay, she raises her vibration, and then we're down here and we feel like crap because we need to let go of whatever we need to let go of to meet her where she is. So, you know, and then maybe we're here and then Earth pushes forward again, right? And then we're like, oh crap. Yeah. So it's, you know, continual cycles, right? Looking at those cycles of energy and just being present with them, and knowing when you're feeling vulnerable and when you're feeling like you have to let stuff go, which is now one of those times, just energetically, you know, on the planet.
Herminia, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you got somebody behind your back again.
I like
Tell him to finish off. Not now.
but you know, it's funny because now that you mentioned that, I can put myself in almost the same position. I was doing so much work for supposedly to save the planet because with that crazy idea that we came here to save the planet. And then after listening Andrew information that the planet doesn't need anybody to save, she can save herself, you know. And then that was the illusion, the selling that was in the market about you know, 2010, 11, 12, that we came here to save the planet, you know. And I was in a race trying to do so much stuff that I think I mentioned before. I even lost my apartment because I was just going and crazy, doing here, doing there, travel here, travel there. And then with all my friends opening possibly portal, all this crazy crap, I can say myself, because it put me in a position that took me like almost 10 years to recover on that craziness. And then I still have that sensation that I'm not, sometimes don't know, like I'm not doing enough, or like I don't feel like happiness. And I sometimes have to force myself to do something silly, to go to do something to force myself to feel happy, because I feel like I have not accomplished what I want to do. Like last week I went to the Legolands and I took my cousin kids, you know, just to detract myself, because this program that we had to be doing, and like never time for us to even if I take like a afternoon to relax, I cannot feel like now relaxed because I have to keep doing stuff. Because no, I'm not feeling like I'm moving, you know. And this kind of big challenge because we have this society that is bombarding all the time that we have to be doing. If we don't do it, then we are not worthy. And it's so ingrained inside that sometimes we run in the program, and I myself running the program that I even don't know I'm running the program. Or, you know, jumping in the survival mode again. Or I'm not doing enough. And it's really...
That's so true, Herminia. That's very much what we discussed in last show, the burnout and the bore out, you know, or the feeling of the stress, the hypo stress, you know, not having enough stress in our lives. That's when we start feeling uncomfortable or something. I just want to add something to what Irina said as well, you know, that place of constant aha moments. As we've, you know, covered so beautifully now, you know, there's no such thing as always being in bliss. But as Irina said, it's really beautifully to reframe everything and looking for the lesson. So this is definitely how I survived my life until now. And I had not acknowledged that before, you know, that I always look for the lesson. And it can be really, really, what's the word? Annoying for other people, because there is nothing that can happen to me where I not immediately look for a solution and for a lesson. What have I learned with this? What is the gift in everything? There's a gift in everything. There's a lesson in everything. And that's the best way of reframing, like Irina was saying as well, to create those aha moments, because every time you reframe and you look for the lesson, then you can use your intensity. Yeah, you are an intense person. Well, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm super intense too, you know. You just need to start realizing how to use your intensity, how to use it to your advantage and in service to others. You can't make yourself less intense if you are an intense energy. I totally get that, but it's not a doing. It could be just a contemplative, you know, way of sitting back and say, okay, so what's the gift in that? What can I learn from this? What have we contributed to each other through the quarrel that we've just had? And also, always, Alfredo, one of those tools for anyone who gets into a state of intensity and doesn't know how to get out of it, you have to expand yourself out. All you need to do is expand your being out beyond the body, beyond the room, beyond the village, beyond the country. And as soon as you do that, you get into your space that you're really happy with. There is no breath needed. There is no exercise needed. Yeah. All you need to do is, okay, time to expand. Expand yourself out. Your body, you're not in your body, babes. And that's the thing. We think we are in the body. No, we're outside the body. The body's within us, within the soul, energy, essence, energy, whatever. So you just expand your energy out and everything changes like this. Literally. When you're in a place where it gets icky, expand yourself out. Your body is such a sensitive instrument that it takes on immediately other people's energies. And even if you don't take it on anymore, you're still perceiving it. And that's not going to get easier. Yeah, because the energies are not going to get easier. Because you pick up the stress of the grass and the tree and the animals and your kids and everyone around it, kilometers away from you. That's how finely tuned your instrument is. That's the greatness of you, not the wrongness of you. And once you get that, well, expand yourself out and don't take it on. And that's it. And that's a daily practice. That's an aha moment to aha moment practice. And it goes for anyone who has a very sensitive instrument. That's no longer where you have to work on your emotions and where you have to, you know, sort out your past lives and all of that. No, you just have to acknowledge the intensity of the vehicle that you've chosen. And that makes a huge difference. And that brings up those aha moments, because then the awareness can just come in and you can juggle the balls, you know, up and down. And also the thing is, you're not just on one dimensional plane, you're continuously on all these other places, in all these other places. Just acknowledge that. Sometimes the intensity that you're perceiving has nothing to do with what's actually happening right in front of you. It's just because you're working already multidimensional. This is when you expand yourself out, everything just, ooh, okay, because it's almost like you're distributing yourself evenly on all the dimensions. You're not trying to fit into a box like a cat. You're not a cat. Remember, you're a frog. And like, not a cat. Don't try to fit in every bloody box like a cat does. No, you're jumping from one petal to the next. Lotus flowers. Are these lotus flowers in the pond?
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah, well, here you go. From one petal. I don't know, it's called petal, whatever it is. From one to the next. Yeah, you're free. Allow your spirit to be free. Don't try to fit it into that gorgeous but too small body of yours.
Yeah, I'll give that a whirl, because every time I get overwhelmed with the energies, especially my kids, they got real intense energies, or wherever I'm at, just all I can think about is my body. It's like, oh, my shoulders are getting tense. My stomach is getting this. I just always just think about the body first things. Like, I got to do this because my body's getting tense. And then that's all I just funnel myself into the body. So just take a different approach.
There's so much more than the body. And it makes you can't do that. You have a body, no doubt. We all have a body, but we can't fit into it. It's like, ugh. I can't even sit with certain people in the same room because our ego is by far too big. You know, I could never do the Zoom together with Paul in one room. Impossible. You know, because as soon as we start talking, we're both talkers and teachers, and we expand. I'm just able to do it whilst he sits in his bloody sits in the kitchen. Yeah, I've pushed people off the porch by just talking to them. I said, what are you doing? Why are you walking away from me? This is so rude. He said, no, you're pushing me off. I said, what? The guy was totally scared shitless. You know? So and that was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? God, I don't talk, don't say anything. No, just expand. And speak to the people who can perceive your energy and receive it. And there might not be that many for now, but you know, there will be more as we go along. And hey, Ian, we can all receive you, frog or not.
I like that, because I can definitely talk with them more. I mean, some people could say, oh, I want to talk to you. I'll talk to you for a little bit, and they're like, all right, I've had enough talking to you already. They got their light or whatever, and they can only be in my field for so long. I get that. Yeah,
well, that's a typical intensity that you are. Yeah.
And don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's not about you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They can only handle so much.
And there's one more thing to this. So if you have not bought my book, then buy it. That's not a pitch, but buy it, because everything that's in it, especially go in the abuse section and do my abuse revocation a couple of times, because that kind of thing always leads to abuse. When you have a certain intensity, I just call it intensity because it's a blissfulness, it's a joy, it's a happiness, it's a inner child, like Irina calls it, that is totally curious and wants to explore. Most parents can't handle it. Most siblings can't handle it. So that's where it all starts already. It starts in your mother's womb, where she can't handle the energy. not consciously, because it's all a subconscious thing, you know. And it will always, those people will always make you wrong for what you say, for what you be, for what you look like, for what you wear, for what you do, and all that. And it's purely because they cannot receive you. It's a receiving issue. You're too intense, you're too joyful for them. Yeah. And there's the learning. There's the learning. What's the learning in that? Whoever has not received you for the full intensity, for the fullness, for the completeness that you are, has been a huge gift to you. It's a huge gift if somebody can't receive you, because you reframe it. For what purpose can this person not receive me, or think I'm wrong, or this or that? Because they show you your capacities, they show you your expansiveness. And that's got nothing to do with overinflating your ego here. Yeah. You just need to once acknowledge that, because you will not get stuck in big ego thing. A person who is expansive and doesn't know it will not get stuck in ego inflation. As soon as they acknowledge that, because it's a blind spot. Yeah, we don't see it, because we've been made wrong all our lives from the very beginning. I've been there until I realized, oh, what's right about me? What's right about me? The question in itself was weird, until I started lots and lots of little light bulb moments. There was so much that was right about me that I had never acknowledged. But if I would have acknowledged them, I would have never allowed myself to the abuse that I went through. And of course, what happens to the abuse that we are being exposed to? We internalize it. And then we abuse ourselves continuously. Control ourselves continuously. Control, abuse, abuse, control. Same thing. There's nothing you can ever control. No one you can ever control. Control is a fabrication, just like fear. It's a distractor implant. What can you ever really control? Nothing. You can choose something. As soon as you try to get attached to the outcome, you're in control. You can't do that. But you can keep choosing and choosing and choosing and choosing. And when you do that without attachment, without expectation, without projections of others, then all of a sudden those quantum entanglements start rearranging themselves. And as if by magic, things just start to fucking happen.
Nice, beautiful. Yeah, some wise words. Yeah, I'll check it out, Martina.
Sure.
Kind of
one more
real
question.
selective with what I'm intaking nowadays.
Thanks for playing, Alfredo.
No, thank y'all for all the beautiful advice.
Yeah. One more question. Do I have another question? No, I don't actually. Does anyone else have another question or any summary or anything? Because I think we covered everything that I had sort of thought about, and so much more, as usual. As usual, with all your contributions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And that's the Mount Shasta, Tanya?
Yeah, that's Mount Shasta.
Oh,
I was just up there. Our friend Melanie just purchased a property there.
Oh, that's
over the weekend.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's remind me. I used to sit down in the hotel, Cold Creek, and then you sit in the bench and you can see the mountain from then. It's the same view. That's wonderful.
Great
Wow.
energy. Great
Beautiful.
energy up there. Yeah.
I would like to go over there, but not to do any spiritual nothing. Just relax, sit down and watch and walk. Not
That's the way. Just relax. Yeah.
the lessons.
Mhm, mhm.
I have to
Well,
say
thanks so
Enjoy the
much.
scenery.
Yeah. Thanks so
Bye.
much,
guys.
y'all. Really nice to see
Join
you
us.
and
Yeah. Thanks for
hang out.
everyone's contribution, and I'll see you next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love
Later,
that
yo.
show last week too. It was very nice, Martina. The show from last week was very nice.
We enjoyed. Cool. Fantastic.
Thank you.
See you soon, guys.
Bye.